Do you guys want to talk about animals that got fucked? Like some things just got fucked. You think you have it fucked until you see something really fucked. You know what I mean? And like a whale or a walrus. Let's just take a walrus, for instance. Like you got severely fucked by creation. How I fucking came to this realization is that there was a video of a walrus on a sea cliff. How the fuck did he get up there? He either got up there at high tide or something somehow. But he's fucked, dude. And he's like trying to get down. And of course he fucking eats shit. Fucking flip flop tumbles, dude. Because you have no arms and legs. You got these huge fucking tusks that have got to just get in the way. You spend your life in frigid fucking water. And there's no refuge. There's nowhere for you to go. Your best option is to get out of the water onto an iceberg to be fucking salt blasted with wind and ice. Like that's fucked. You got fucked, homie. You ever seen a walrus's eyes, dude? You know what I mean? The one that's got it the best off is the one in SeaWorld. You know what I mean? He doesn't look as rough as the ones in the nature. You see, dude, even the one there, but I seen the one in that video. Their fucking eyes are like this, dude. It's bloodshot and like, you're going through it. I mean, that sucks. You know, like a flying fish, you didn't get fucked. You're like majestic as fuck, actually. Because you could come out of the water and glide for a little bit. You could have gave them that ability, but you didn't. You know who else got fucked hard, dude? Whales, bro. Like, I don't even like putting my toe in cold water. Okay, I've been watching people do that cold water shit. And like Rogan did it, right? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a try. And I got the ice bath already and everything. And I'm like, my feet are cold, dude, on the tile. Like, that's not a good sign. And I mean, I just looked at that thing. I'm like, I'm not getting in there. Fuck that. It's fucking freezing, dude. Fuck out of here, dude. Fuck is wrong with you people? You know what I mean? It's like you gotta just suffer. You gotta like make yourself suffer. You just can't handle it, dude. You just can't handle it. You know what I mean? It's like the motherfucker who started that shit just can't handle it, dude. You just gotta make himself suffer. And then other people are like, oh my God, it's amazing. How are you doing that? It's like, oh, I just suffer, dude. I just eat the fucking shit. I take suffering and I put mustard on it and I can eat it. You know what I mean? I can't get enough. You know what I mean? And then other people do it. And, oh my God, this is great. It's like, dude, what? How the fuck is that great? That sucks, dude. That fucking sucks my wang, dude. There's no clinical proof. They're like, oh, it benefits your fucking immune system. Blah, bullshit. You that motherfucker, that one person that's testing like that out of a fucking thousand people, you have some kind of genetic anomaly to begin with. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna look at this creature that's fucked. I'm gonna do that to myself? Like, not. Bro, I get in the car, it's so cold. I'm like, let me just get in the car and turn the heater on. And it's like warm. And I'm thinking, what the fuck do people do? I'm just watching everybody, dude. And it's like, yeah, you're working on a pipeline out there in the frigid cold. You know, you get out and do fucking half an hour, 45 minutes worth of work, and then you get in the car and you can sit up and have warming periods. Where did they warm up in the olden days? There's no like heater, dude, on a stagecoach or a buggy. You were fucked, dude. And now we're like, what? We're so greedy that we're like holding back on that, or for whatever reason, like everybody's just cold. It's like fucked. But no matter how cold and fucked you are, you're not as fucked as that walrus or that fucking whale. You know what I mean? And somebody's like, "Oh, they're designed for it. Their bodies are made. You're just feeling cold because you're a mammal." It's like, so the fuck is a whale? So the fuck is a walrus? Those are both mammals, dude. And here's another thing. You will never taste fresh water. Think about it. Where would a whale or a walrus or a seal get fresh water, dude? I wonder if they would drink it if you put it out for them. You know what I mean? Or it probably not. It probably fuck them up and all kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's weird how some animals just got fucked, dude, in creation. If a whale could spread its wings and had like gliding capabilities like a flying fish or a flying squirrel, it would be fucking majestic, dude. It would be like, whoa. You know what I mean? And people would definitely not be killing them. But it's like, dude, that boat, the Sea Shepherd, it operates purely off of donos. You know what I mean? They got like multi-million-dollar budget just off of donos from people that don't want to like people that want to protect the whales. And I get it, dude. But at the same time, it's like, you don't think you're doing that animal a favor? Like that thing's fucked, dude. It's fucked. I'm just grateful to not be a whale, I guess, or a fucking walrus, dude. Who got fucked worse? At least a walrus has fur. Seals have fur. You know, if you're in San Diego, like this is why I say seals are not that fucked because they can live in warm water and they can get out of the water. I mean, and I watch them work and fish, and they're extremely fast, and they could change direction. They're omnidirectional, dude, on a drop of a dime. But they're also vulnerable, dude. They're also vulnerable. What's up, Shonda? It's taken people a long time to get in here. It's weird. Weird. A bunch of people came in and then left, and okay. I'm just doing my rant on walruses and whales because I believe they're fucked, dude. They got fucked. Creation fucked them, dude. There's nowhere for you to go except for a fucking cold ice sheet. You ever laid on the cement or like just sat down on the sidewalk just lately, dude? Just fucking lately. And it's like cold as fuck. Your like ass starts hurting. You know what I mean? You ever been like have to wait in a line for a long time and there's like nothing else to do but sit down on the cement? It's cold. Your ass starts hurting, or like I got all tile house, so like I got to wear slippers because it's cold and uncomfortable. I couldn't imagine getting in frigid water that is so cold it's freezing parts or just chunks of ice, dude. And like and you have to get in there, dude. Not only you have to get in, but you have to be like swift enough to catch other fish and animals. It's just crazy, dude. It's a trip, dude. What do you I bet you krill and plankton is probably pretty good. Like I know that I had ghost shrimp one time and I think that's what sea monkeys are. And they look really cool, but they're like see-through and shit. They're really fragile. And if you take them out of the water, they just like it's just like a piece of skin or something that's floating in the water and it just like it's like doesn't even have a form when you take it out. It's crazy. And so like if you had like in nature, I guess it's a cloud. So it's probably like a squishy, salty kind of cloud. I don't know, dude. But that's the best you have. Like I just feel like walruses and whales got fucked, dude. You know what I mean? Like why did you do that to them, God? I feel like those Japanese whaling boats are kind of like putting them out of their misery in a lot of ways. I don't know. Just you're not majestic. Where's everybody at? Is somebody on live? Is this stream not coming through? Like, I've been coming up every day, and you know what I mean. Everybody comes in. It's not happening, so I'm assuming that somebody's on live or my shit's buffering. Is it coming through well, Shonda? Yeah, they're really bold, huh? Dude, I seen a native chick on a video. They're allowed to hunt seals, you know, because it's part of their culture. And this lady got all super happy, you know, because they were fishing and the seal came in and they're like, oh, that's it. And they pulled out like, I don't know, it was like a lever action 30-30 or something. And she capped it, pa! One time. And then it was like bloody and it was just kind of flopping there and they gaffed it and pulled it in. And that chick cut a piece into it right there, dude, and picked it out, a piece of blubber, and bit it. And she was like happy, dude. Like she couldn't get that shit fast enough. Everyone was like, whoa. And she was like, watch out here. And she took it and she goes, fresh. And I was like, fuck. What? But that's how good that shit must have been, dude. Because she just tore into it. You know what I mean? Stony, good to see you, man. I've just been chilling. I've been doing me, dude. I mean, you know what? You know what? If truth be told, I put a wild persona out there, and I like always fucking feed into the craziness and the jokes and stuff. But truth be told, like I'm feeling good, dude, and I've been broken of the need to have my medicine first thing in the morning and like nothing else can get done and all this and like, you know what I mean? That's not good. And I've been broken of that. So now I get up and I have to do all this work and then I get all my son's shit ready, get him up. You got to sit on him the whole time. Then we get out and drive all across the border through the traffic, then get over here, go a couple of miles to my truck, switch out the vehicles, go get him his snack and his breakfast, drop him off at school, and then I go and take my medicine, which is 30 milligrams less than what I have been taking for the last 4 years. And I haven't changed it or complained or used. Like, that's like the most important thing. Like, you know what I mean? And I will say this, like what my counselor said about like my history speaking for itself and like my history in recovery. I have a 9-year period recently. Like 4 years ago, I stopped taking methadone and I relapsed. You guys saw that all on the YouTube and everything like that. And then I got back in to the treatment and then I haven't relapsed in 4 years. And then that clinic closed its fucking doors with no notice, no explanation. And I found another option. And not only was that another option, but it was paid for. It's paid for, right? And that was costing me $200 in a month that I was paying out of pocket for a month's worth of medication. And so just looking at it, the evidence is there. There's 0% chance of relapse when I'm in the methadone program. And it goes, the evidence is there for years, with years worth of random clean UAs, which is urine analysis, in case you don't know. And then when I leave the clinic, I'm not on the clinic, there's 100% chance of relapse just based on my history. And if you just look at the data. So like, first of all, it's kind of a no-brainer for anybody that has a fucking brain, right? And anybody that like cares about you, it's a no-brainer. Anybody that doesn't care about you or doesn't have your best interest or wants to see something bad happen to you, they're the ones that are going to tell you, what are you doing? You got to get off that. When you like, well, I'm doing what the evidence suggests. And like, I suggest you do the same fucking thing because you could feel any type of way about a lot of things. And in fact, that's where we fuck up as human beings. We use our feelings because of past traumas, past experiences, childhood, the way you were raised. Like somebody that was raised with all the money and all the power and everything that they wanted, and all they have to do is show up and do the work, is going to have a different perception of how life works than somebody who was born with nothing and had to do work just to get in the position that you have and then show up and do the work. And you know what I mean? Like on top of feeding themselves, cleaning their own clothes, like, stuff that your parents did for you when you were a kid. You know what I mean? And yeah, staying sober through all of that, like not using it as an excuse. But I did notice this. Like, I've been in recovery for a long time. I have a lot of fucking information and a lot of fucking tools in my toolbox about, especially, and by toolbox, I mean relapse prevention. Okay. So most people in active addiction don't even know what the fuck that word means or have never heard it before. And like, not only is that a word that you have to know if you're in recovery or if you want to be in recovery, but that's a word you have to live by. You have to learn to live by that word, dude. Relapse prevention. And it's simple. There are warning signs, there are red flags, and there's triggers. And they don't change. In fact, they're universally similar for everybody, no matter if you're a tweaker, a crackhead, an alcoholic, a gambler, a chomo, anything, dude. See? So, if you don't get with it about relapse prevention and start looking for fucking red flags and warning signs, you're fucking doomed. Or not, either you're doomed or you're not sold out for recovery. Because for a lot of years, dude, I was convinced that I could make it work. In fact, I still could make it work. 100%. The thing is that, do you want to do that kind of work? Because I don't. Like, I do. I'm a worker. But I also realize the purpose of what I'm working for. And that's an end result or a product. So I'm going to work towards being sober. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought there because it was like, um, I don't, I, I disagree. It worked for me. It worked for me. Like, I would say a normal person, it's not going to work for. But people that are self-medicating because they have other psychological disorders like autism or Asperger's or Tourette's, like there's a lot of psychotic disorders that you could have that I for sure have. Okay? And people get into drugs because of self-medicating a lot of times. And you do find, not everybody, but some people, especially of high intelligence, find a formula that works for them. And you know how I figured out if it worked for me? Because when it didn't work, it didn't work. And when it worked, it worked. So it's pretty obvious. So it's like, like carrying needles and, taking all the anxiety and all the fear and all the doubt away helps me. Having to carry a needle around and a spoon and a fucking cotton and all, you know what I mean? Like all that shit, that wasn't working for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I have I spend a lot of my time on the road. So you're opened up for search and seizure, either legal or illegal. It doesn't matter. You're still getting fucked. It doesn't matter if you're getting legally fucked or illegally fucked. Like, you're getting fucked. So, you know what I mean? Like, That shit works for people with money. You know what I'm saying? After the fact, you could fucking go back and get a fucking lawyer and this and that and everything and show all this stuff. You know what I mean? And somebody that's poor might have even more credentials, but they don't have the fucking money and time to put that list together and do that. And you know what I mean? But anyway, so like there was aspects that weren't working for me. You understand? And that's what drew me to the clinic. And the clinic is working for me. Marijuana is working for me, right? Alcohol doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'll only do it every now and then on New Year's. And the year before last, I didn't do it. This year, I did. And it was one 24-ounce beer. You know what I mean? I think the next day I woke up a little drunk, still I didn't feel good, and I got another 24. You know what I'm saying? And like that's how it goes for me. Like I'll pickle myself for a couple days, and that's the fun. And then I stopped when I, was parking my truck, and that cop was there, and I didn't even realize it. And the dude was crying, and it made me realize, like, well, first of all, that is life. No matter who you are, no matter how you got it, it's gonna hit you that hard, dude. Where you gotta go somewhere and fucking cry it off. Okay? No matter what. So that's it. That's somebody that's getting paid at least $100 an hour. See, it used to be $50 an hour, and I know that's changed because I asked. And the Border Patrol, the sheriff, and the fucking Fish and Game are all competitively taking people from each other, dude. And I've heard him. I know this because I heard the conversation between a Border Patrol and a fucking sheriff. And he's like, you should come over here, dog. They're paying 50. And this is like 11 years ago. So, and then I heard some guys in the Border Patrol and stuff, and they were talking, and it's like 75 to a hundo, dude, or more if you're doing fucking time and a half, or like on Christmas Day, the guys that were in the booths, they were making money, dude. But it's all mindset, right? Like that guy didn't want to be there. The guy who I went through on New Year's, because he was like all sad, and he was like, his body language was like envious that I was going. And what he said to me was, "Have fun." I'm like, "Have fun, bro. It's fucking like, how kind of fun are you gonna have at 5:45 in the morning on like Christmas Day? This sucks." But in his mind, like, that's what you're going to do, is like have fun. He didn't want to be stuck there, but you were getting paid cash, Ola, right? So you could be getting paid all that money, $100 an hour, which with overtime in just 40 hours, you're going to be making between 3 and 4 G's a week. And that's what it takes to survive, right? If they charging $4,000 for a deposit on a 1-bedroom apartment, and your rent is 1,500 or 1,200, that means that means you have to make faux. Most landlords they try to hire the people that do have at least 3 times the amount of rent, because that's what it takes. You got to buy food, you got to have enough money to do your expenses and any kind of emergencies, and then you have your rent money. So like you got to show that you at least make 3 times whatever the rent is. And so who does that? Like you know what I mean? Cops, Border Patrol, like, just to compete, you got to be making that kind of money. So that's the kind of money they're making. And I don't know about you, but it'd be hard for me to be in a bad mood, or my mind isn't right. I don't know how to play the mind games with myself to be like, you know, hey, I should be happy, or be happy, or man, you know what I mean? Like so it's all mental, dude. It's all mental. That's a trip, Stony. I didn't even picture you as a tweaker. That's one thing that I can't do, believe it or not. Contrary to popular belief. Yeah, you got to make a lot to scrape by, huh? I'm glad to hear that somebody say that, because sometimes I think that there's something wrong with me. I think, like, there's something wrong with me, dude. Because how come I'm not doing it? All these other people must be doing it. You know what I mean? But good for you. That's good. You know what's crazy, Stony? You know why that's extra good for you for in my mind, like you get extra props? Because I really study. I've been fascinated with how these drugs bind to neuroreceptors and how they're carried through the body and even end up in the brain. And then just finding out what types of neuroreceptors do what, and then crystal binds to the neuroreceptors that are responsible for task accomplishment and a lot of like peace and well-being too. That's why you get that like euphoria and shit when you're in the high and not really worried about anything at first. But accomplishment and boredom, right? Those are the neuroreceptors that it binds to. So when people don't have it, and I've heard this from a lot of people, it's like you feel like you're in this foggy cloud that doesn't make sense. And if you could get past that, then you have this extreme sense, a heightened sense of boredom, no matter what you're doing, dude. You could be given the most bestest task. It gives you $1,000,000 every like completion, and you just have the hardest time doing it because that part of your brain has been fucked up. And that is they say that's one of the hardest drugs in all of recovery to get people off of. Yeah. You believe that? Because of that reason, that they always cave to the boredom. It's extremely difficult to cope after a certain point. So the fact that you have been sober for 20 years is remarkable, dude. That's so fucking remarkable. I've found that like recovery is really popular of a topic, and it's something that can't be faked. You either have the knowledge or you don't. And like even for people that like obviously don't have the knowledge, like Sam, because like the comments you make are like so somebody that's so clueless. Because yes, Sam, if I don't know if you know this or not, but everybody that's in recovery will tell you that the only reason that they have success is because they talk about recovery every day. Some people go to meetings like 2 or 3 times a day, and that's what they suggest at first. Like for somebody like you that's a raging alcoholic and is full on addicted to alcohol, and it happens to be the only drug that you can die from, like you can fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could lock anybody else in a room and it's going to be okay for them, except for an alcoholic, because an alcoholic in detox could actually die. There's so many problems that could go like wrong with it that, you know what I mean? And like, if you want to like stay sober and like have any success, yeah, you got to talk about it every day, bro. At least once a week. If you're not like, you know what I mean? Like now we have this digital medium so we could get together and connect. Well, how do you think, let me tell you why, Sam, because I know like obviously if you haven't got it and you're like twice my age and you haven't gotten it yet, then you're not capable of understanding or that kind of intellect. So let me help you and I'll break it down for you, bro. If you talk to anybody in recovery, they will tell you that the moment your recovery stops, meaning like you don't work at it anymore, you're not talking about dope every day with other people that have recovered from dope. You know what I'm saying? You're not listening for words and things like relapse prevention, or you know what I mean, in order to establish a toolbox of relapse prevention and fill it with all these important things like warning signs, triggers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you think you get that? It comes from talking about it every day, Sam. That's what meetings are for. That's what people do. And now that a combination of the pandemic and the advent of digital media, people are really getting into it now, and coming off of this fucking lockdown and quarantine where a lot of people have sunk deeper into depression and drug use and alcoholism, that and most of them, because they didn't have this history until the pandemic or until the financial reset, until like you started losing things and having things fucked up, right? Broken families, and then they get into this shit, and then like right now, yeah, you're seeing an explosion of people that have an interest in this. And I can make like cute little videos, you know what I mean? About like, sometimes I think about my future, you know what I mean? Or sometimes I think about all my problems and stuff, and I realize, thank God for day drinking. You know what I mean? Like, thank God for, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's funny. Ha ha ha, that's funny. And you know what I mean? You could get 3 or 4 more 100 views more than what Sam will get on, you know what I mean, the worst day. The only time people ever tune into you, Sam, is for hate. Like, even the people that like you, first of all, there's nobody that really likes you. And like, if they do, it's just a matter of time before you start squabbling with them, because you're the dopamine addict, remember? And you don't talk about it every day. Therefore, your chances of recovery are fucking slim to none. So, you know what I mean? And everything I'm saying is right and true. And none of it can be argued. And if anybody tries to argue with me, they'll get their ass handed to them, because anybody with any length of recovery, like, bro, even though I've been listening to this shit. Okay? I'm forced to fucking be in it, because that's my world. And that's it, dude. And the powers that be, like the rest of the world, it's like this, bro. It's like you were living a certain way, and then the pandemic happened, or the financial crisis, or all these fucked up things that forced other people to come down to my reality. And now that they're living your reality, that you just breeze through like nothing, it's a big deal to these motherfuckers, because they don't fucking have that knowledge, right? And now that it's all coming out, we're all connected, there's a lot of people that want this knowledge, because they don't want to live like that, or they recognize earlier on, like, it's not working for me, or it's not, you know what I mean? And so if you don't have that knowledge at all, and you're already like putting it down or having something negative to say, that's how I know you're hurting bad, dude. Because everybody comes in with a, hey, how's it going? You come in with a negative comment before you even say hi. And I'm not putting you down. That's who you are. It's not for me to say that it's right or wrong. I do me. You know what I mean? But I know this. You're way too old, bro, to not have any of this fucking knowledge. The fact that you don't have any of this knowledge makes me really go like, what the fuck have you been doing, bro, with your fucking time? Right? I mean, I can make a goofy joke and stuff, and I notice, like, yeah, it gets 111 or 250 more views than you get, Sam. But there's a couple of important things to remember there. Like, any views that you get are coming from hate. Like, that's it. There's nobody that really likes you. People know that you're the most dysfunctional, and that's why they turn in. Or, you know what I mean? You're a punching bag. You're an easy target. And I'm not saying that to put you down, bro. But I'm just telling you, because they're not your friends. Or somebody would have told you this already. Right? I mean, I feel pretty, just saying it now, that this is the alcoholic guy that's been living in his car for 4 years with multiple animals, and now you're having even more health complications, and I bet you haven't drunk. I bet you if you stop drinking, 95% of your fucking health problems go away. I know, and the fact that you're as old as you are and have none of this knowledge about recovery shows like your chances are even more slim to none, and that's bleak, and that sucks, and I feel bad for you. And I might get up and be like, yeah, well, fuck you, fucking heroin addict. All you're talking about. Well, fuck you, but yeah, but I didn't have a car yesterday. I didn't have a car yesterday. So I had to like leave this 2-story, 2-bedroom house on the beach in Mexico, right? Where my motorcycle tire was flat. But I have a motorcycle and I have 2 trucks and I got to get to one of them. So I walk across the border, which involved 2 buses. It was actually, it almost seemed like it was faster than the bike, right? I mean, you could have gotten a cab. If you didn't know what to do, you would have gotten I guess I'm going to get in a cab. And the cab prices have gone through the roof. You wouldn't even believe it, dude. Right? I think I paid $1.50 for 2 passengers with a kid in tow. Got him to school on time. Got my fucking tire. Got the tire off. Went back. Went to the store. Right? Knew where that store was. Right? In another country, bro. Right? And then came over here. And do you think I would have known any of that? The only reason I know about all of that shit, dude, how to cross the border with no documentation. I don't have a passport. I don't have a passport. I don't have a visa. I'm living illegally, allegedly, in Mexico, right? Although, according to Mexican law, they require a birth certificate and any type of official government agency issued identification card that correlates to the same fucking name as on the birth certificate, and you're Gucci, technically. You know what I mean? Because that's what it takes to get to a visa, get to a passport. And as long as you're making that process, that attempt, and you're doing it with documentation that ties you to your legal name and legal identity, and have all this facial recognition shit and your cell phone signature, which is all tied to my bank account, my this, my that. I don't even have to put YouTube or TikTok in there no mo. It's like as soon as I get a phone and that chip goes in there, that's mine. It's never been used before. All that shit starts linking up. Bing, 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 bing. Bank account, everything. So it's like, but if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, it can make a big deal because there's a lot of crackheads, a lot of drug addicts, and people that are going just to gamble, because gambling is fully legal. Sport betting, slot machine, any of that, dude. Tournament poker, everything. It's 100% legal. Like, you could go buy a slot machine and put it in your front door. In fact, for a while, that's what was happening. Till the federal government, the Mexican federal government, came to help with the border. They have been patrolling and enforcing the border. I saw so many migrants with kids the other day that were getting processed by Border Patrol, and it was like just like those Texas videos that you see. It was a lot, dude. And I'm just like thinking, how the fuck are these people finding their way into this thing, this little corridor thing? Because if you get in there, you're Gucci, dude. Then I guess they have to process you now. You know why they're doing that? Because people won't work, or they can't work, or they this, that. And I heard Warren Buffett and Bill Gates was there, and then I think somebody else, but they were talking about we have, and they were saying that they powers that be didn't expect this either. We came into an era where everybody had the power of this phone and we're all connected, and now it gives them even bigger control, which is what they want. And we have to restructure and basically invent a system, and everything's being restructured. Part of the reason that you're experiencing the inflation is because they're trying to make everything basically the same price all over the world, and all the currencies basically have the same value, more or less. That's what they're trying to do, and it's working because people have been documenting it. And I've even seen before and after videos, dude, right? Comparing a German supermarket to American supermarket. And they are almost the same right now, which is weird and remarkable because they were like, how the fuck is Heineken? It actually worked out like Heineken was like 2 or 3 cents cheaper here in California than in Germany where it's fucking made. But because of licensing and taxes and import and this and that and everything. But yeah, it is definitely the new world order, and they have no choice but to do it. Is it not about control since the beginning? It's about control and knowing every single cent, every single fucking dollar is accounted for. You know every dollar is accounted for, right? They know exactly how many dollars are out there in the world. I was like, and like, and it's tracked. And then they find that when they reissue more money, like it goes to the most powerful people because they have the ability to grab it and they're positioned in a way to be able to do that. So just weird. They're working out things too. But the end game is that because we know who everybody is, there's no more, the documentation's over. Now everybody's documented. So everybody can go everywhere, which means that the offset of economies and finances will be fucked up unless everything is basically the same everywhere. There's no reason for immigration anymore. Why are people coming here? Because they think that it's a better lifestyle here. What I hear from immigrants and what I could say for myself is that, yes, it's easier to make money here and it happens a little bit faster, but there is a system set in place already where there's not only purposefully placed pitfalls and traps, but it's fucking super expensive. Nobody's giving anything away. If you need something, they're going to charge more for it because you need it. And most countries like Mexico or like developing nations or even third world countries realize that as a community, if everybody genuinely has access, or at least they have, like, people have trials and tribulations, some people have it better off than others, but basically, pretty much, you could start off as a blank slate and you could work towards anything that you need. And because of that, there's less crime, there's less thievery, there's less animosity. Everything is more tranquil and more, you know what I mean? And if you make it a little bit easier and a little bit more opportunity for people, people are more willing to take advantage of that. And that's how economies flourish. So, for instance, when they had a housing crisis in Mexico, in Tijuana, somebody came up with the idea of, like, look, we could build these preformed concrete rebar structures that are 2-story so that, you know, they go up. You could stack more of them side by side, right, with at least one off-street parking space that's sitting on a 2,000, you know, over a 2,000 gallon water well, right? And how they advertised it was they had a taxi parked in that driveway, showing like even a low, just starting out in life, lowly like taxi driver can afford one of these places. And they were like out in the like off of the beaten path, you know what I mean, where real estate wasn't that valuable, but you're still in a good location. But I'm telling you, and there's none of those that are vacant. Not only did they rent them out and keep people from being homeless or off the streets, but they also, now you have an opportunity, dude. You worked hard for that. You got that place. Now you can rent it out. You know what I mean? Like what I'm doing. I'm renting one of those places. And I'm happier than shit to have it, because where I'm from here in San Diego, there's a housing crisis. There's not enough houses for people that have the credit and have the money to go buy a house right now. They don't exist. That's why they're saying we have to build more houses. And then they say we have to build more affordable housing, because the houses that do exist are, it's $1 million for a 2-bedroom condominium in San Diego. So like, you know what I mean? But it's because they refuse to do what Mexico did. Because nobody's gonna make any money off of it. Or like, somebody will make money off of it, dude. But you have to ask yourself, is that what the end goal is? Is it to house people that don't have housing, or is it about money? Because if it was about housing people, you would have done it. One Patriot missile cost $800,000 to launch. Did you know that? That's facts, dude. And how many of those motherfuckers are being launched? How many did they waste in Afghanistan for nothing? For something that you just picked up and moved away, which is another thing. If all these places are running out of methadone, and we knew that we were in the midst of an opioid crisis to which the likes we've never seen before, it makes sense that we invaded the #1 producer of opium in the world, which is Afghanistan. And because everybody in the world has been on that ass since the beginning of time, they're hardened bad motherfuckers that chose to raise that shit in an impenetrable mountain region, because they know that that's a valuable fucking thing that people have to have, and they're going to come and try to get it. And that's it, dude. Your best effort you couldn't do. But all that money that they wasted trying to do that, if you would have just took a 1/1000th of it, you could have fucking built so many of those little things. Somebody bought a property and built one of them. But these are like classy people, they're nice. And they got a corner lot, and I watched them build it from scratch. And like, it took like about 4 or 5 months, and it's fucking nice, dude. But I think they pay, and they have an ocean view, dude. I think it was somebody else bought it. The property owner is the one who paid for the house and built it and everything. And I think he said it costed him $23,000 to build that house. They sold it to these people, right? Because I lived there, and I was asking and talking to the workers, and mainly because I wanted to watch and see how they did that. Because I would build those. Like, where it's perfect for those type of places? Slab City. Because for one thing, this is what I noticed, dude. Those motherfuckers that sit in the middle of the desert, is shaded by the top floor. And when the wind's passing through, the bottom floor is always cooler, dude. And it is a fucking legit system, dude. And I seen shit in Saudi Arabia that they did with like shading and angling to catch fucking wind, and just like, there's stuff, temperature reducing shit you could do. And these things, I'm telling you, as someone who lives with one, it's like a refuge. We're cooking, we're baking to death. That's what we do out here, dude, most of the time. And I'm telling you, I come out of the tree crew, I come down, and it's like fucking death, dude. And I go into that house, and as soon as I open it, it's like a cool breath of air, dude, because, you know what I mean? The open window, and then the windows in the back, it just causes like a suction event, and it pushes all the wind, and I can smell it. It smells cool and clean and fresh, like an empty warehouse. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, dude. I'm always like, oh, what a relief, I mean, sometimes we lay on the floor, dude, in the cool fucking tiles, because it's that hot in the summertime. So I'm just saying. And then you have concrete slabs. All you need is a slab to build it on to start with. Hello, you know what I mean? But anyway, it's not habitable out there. It's not hospitable, and there's stuff. But I'm saying, just as an example, you could take a place that has a clean slab and fucking $23,000, dude. There's a multi-family dwelling unit. And the reason I bring up Slab City is because I'm thinking like, well, people say like, no, the value of property is so much, nobody's going to give anything away to help the homeless or the underhoused or like, lower income people. So why don't you do it in the desert? Why don't you do it on the outskirts of town? I seen them do it here with the high end shit, luxury condominium, and it's like an actual community now. It didn't even exist. It's like a part of town. If you ask anybody about East Lake in San Diego, and they're like, that's a known spot. Like, you've made it, dude. That's where the successful, and it just came up. And just because they built it, the community came, dude. You need stores, you need this, you need that, and it's there, dude. It's not going anywhere. So, and it's still just a 15, 20-minute public transportation ride into town. You know what I mean? Truth be told, you could take public transportation from there to downtown San Diego in an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So like the fact that we're not gridding out the desert with water pipes, and you don't have to pay for labor because all you do is you offer a slice of that pie in exchange for your labor in constructing it. That's it. That's why we have the problem we have right now, because people don't feel that they're gonna ever get a slice of the pie. And that's a scary slope, dude. I've heard a lot of famous like historians and people like professors talk about it and say how they're worried because not only all the classic warning signs from the period in history where we've seen very successful entities collapse, because it's a combination of things. There's usually a lack of morality or belief in any kind of core structure, and a result of that is a class of people that develop that are detached from it. Like you have to work for it, you have to clean it and polish it and take care of it, but you're never gonna own a piece of it. In fact, whatever you earn in doing this, you're going to be required to pay some of it just for permission to live in a certain spot. And you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not paying for the permission because there's a water spigot there or because there's electricity. Like, you're going to have to pay for that stuff if you want it there. Right? And there is nowhere to dig a hole. So this is a catch-22. Like, you're like, well, okay, well, I guess we'll just shit in a hole for now and save up some more money, and then we'll like build some, like, no, there's nowhere to dig a hole. There's nowhere, like, you're trapped. You're all in, dude, or not at all. Like, that's the way it is. And that's why I'm very attracted to Mexico, because one thing about Mexico, because they have a huge class of indigenous people that really don't leave their community ever, and it would be difficult for them to go out and get all these things in a row that they need, that everybody else just starts out with. And if they don't have the things they need, it is a problem for everybody else because they're robbing and stealing and doing this and doing that. And so Mexico always makes a way. It's not the choice way. It's not the way you want to do it. It's not the right way, right? It's usually a little bit more costly. That's the reason somebody's making it, is because, they're going to get something out of it. There's an opportunity there, but there's a way. And their whole community is better off because everybody has a way. Now, they have other ways of getting you, dude, because you have to. People, if you don't control people and you don't direct people or corral them into the spot that would be like the best not only for them, but for the community, most people aren't going to do it. Most things in life require a lot of work, no matter what, dude. Even being a bum is a lot of work, right? You got to find your stuff. You got to have a place to stash your shit. You know what I mean? You're losing shit. You got to acquire shit. You know what I mean? Your presentation isn't the best. But you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, damn, even being a bum is hard. So like, if we're just all in agreement that that's how life is, no matter what the situation, it's a lot of fucking work, right? It's a lot of work, dude, to do anything. Would you do that work if there was no reward? Just to survive? Or would you do that work if you had no faith? Let's say you have no faith. You're the type of person that, you know what I mean? If I tell you there's a big reward over there, but you got to go 20 miles to do it, dude, and you can't be late because everybody's going there for it. If you're not there 7 o'clock, bro, you better be there 10 minutes, a half an hour before 7. And I'm going to tell you, this is how you got to do it. And I'm going to give you, and you know, you don't have the bus money. Okay, here's $1.75. Make sure. There's a lot of people that still wouldn't be able to do it because it's a lot of work. And I learned this by being a tree business owner, because I'm hired to do dangerous or difficult things that people believe because you're a professional, you're going to know how to do it. And then when they hear references or somebody refers you or tells you or whatever the fuck, you know, they know, okay, this person's that guy. And then they have you come out. It requires a lot of faith. And I find myself, I'm the kind of guy that talks myself into work, right? Like I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, there's a bunch of wires underneath it, but if I rope it, if we put a rope over there and we tie it off, I could keep all those wires good. And then like, okay, there's a pond and it's in the backyard downhill. So this is going to be really difficult. I should probably get like 2 more laborers. Like everything I'm doing is talking myself into doing this shit because I'm pulling up on something that's super fucking sketchy. Nobody wants to spend money, but it's so fucking sketchy and fucked that these people have decided that they will spend money to get rid of this fucking problem. So it's difficult, dude. And I find that I talk myself into doing shit. And I came to this realization because I noticed the first thing people ask when you have laborers is, what are we doing? What are we doing today? Oh, it's this one tree over here. And when you get there, dude, they all get out and they all want to go see exactly what are we doing. And when you tell them, you start hearing the immediate, they're talking themselves out of it. Oh, how are we going to do that? We're not going to be able to get all that stuff out of the backyard. And then what about those wires under there? You can't do it because of all the wires, bro. How are you going to fucking get up under the wires? And I got to be somewhere at 3:30, 15. It's like, bro, it's fucking, it's 8:45. Why the fuck are you even thinking about 3:15 for, homie? Like, where you got to go? Well, I got to go to here. Okay, well, the bus for here is right here at the end of this block. So I suggest if we ain't out of here and it's 2 o'clock, you need an hour and a half to get there, here you go. I'll even give you the $1.50. You know what I mean? So you just solve their problem and then they come up with some other shit. And you could just hear it, dude. And I learned, wow, that's the difference between me and other people, is that most people will talk themselves out of doing stuff. I'm the type of person that is talking myself into it, dude. You know what I mean? And that's it, dude. That's the difference between, that's what it takes, man. That kind of mentality. So like if I was Sam and I was angry and fucked up and I didn't have that faith, all I could be is like, how can I do that? I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah. Exactly, Stony. That's what I say. It's insanity. Not only, check it out. Here's how they're so stupid. Not only would you solve the homelessness problem, but you would probably find a way to have a greater control of these people's lives and trap them in to your system of slavery, which is what you fucking want, right? Because now they have a piece of the pie. It's like I was saying about those professors that are like, woe is the time, dude. Because we're seeing like a degradation of all this shit. And that happens when people don't believe that they have a piece of the pie. And when nobody's gonna burn their house down, dude, because it's your house and you know what it's worth and how hard it was to get, and you're not gonna have another one. But everybody will burn a house down that doesn't belong to them. And if why? Oh, not just for the fuck of it? No. Because they're disgruntled or something pissed them off or they got some kind of fucking jealousy or angst. So that's a metaphor, dude, for what the fuck is happening right now in this country, with what we're living. So you got all these people that aren't going to have access ever to a piece of pie, but yet you fucking indenture them into this system. And now you're saying that, well, there's just a class of people. That's what these guys were saying, Warren Buffett and all them. There's like, and they were saying that this is why it's a good thing about all the immigration that we're having right now. Because they were claiming not only have we all been genetically modified and you have new sources of genes that are not genetically modified, but they're willing to work and do things for this, like this dream that we've all figured out is bullshit, but they still believe it, and they are willing to sleep 9 people in a 1 bedroom. Like where they at, that's not even a fucking, like, that's not even a fucking a setback. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's part of the reason. But it takes millions of people, a lot more than a drop in the bucket of migration that you've been having, dude. There's 300 million Americans. So if you're saying that none of them are going to work and that half of the class fell behind of this new system that popped up out of nowhere that nobody expected, how many people are we talking about? It's got to be in the millions. But yet there's not millions of immigrants, dude, that are coming right now. There's not. I don't know. I don't even care about that, dude. I don't care either way. I'm just saying that me as a person that's not documented, doesn't have any fucking paperwork, and yet I cross the border, international boundaries, just to get a fucking tire, carry the tire, get it fixed, drop a kid off at school, bring it all, towing a kid, right? Have to go by the clinic, right? Just get the medication that I'm chronically, chemically dependent on. And that's a lot of shit, bro. That's a lot. You're like, damn, how the fuck did you know how to do all that? How did you know, dude, that this bus was here and it was going to take you to there and that this one was that, and then you knew to go this way and say this, and then you wouldn't have to fucking, you know what I mean? Show your fucking shit, or you knew how to like walk in with these people, you know what I mean? Like just a lot of tricks, because you know what the answer is? It's drugs. If I wouldn't have had a background in drugs and alcohol, I would have never mapped out this area and this country and this city, let alone build a small infrastructure or relationships and shit over time, long before I came back 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason it went so smooth and I was able to advance was because I knew where everything was, and I knew this and that, and then boom, boom, boom. And if I didn't have a problem before, I wouldn't know any of this. And I'm smarter because I know about something that's going on underneath people's noses that you guys don't have a fucking clue to. And it's a stone cold killer, man. And it ain't like the old shit where you could take a couple of hits and if it wasn't for you, you throw up, it's miserable, you hate it, there's no way you're going to do another one, right? This stuff, you nowadays, you don't even get that chance. You could just be a curious little dude, dead. Just curiosity killed the cat. Boom. Yeah, that's right. They don't. They don't get any of that. That's right. Well, these ones will. These people that when you get picked up by the border, you're turning yourself into Border Patrol and you're making a case and opening a case and then you're establishing your identity and doing your thing. You have access to all of that shit, dude. You got the golden ticket. And I see them, Stony, on the way to work because I drive about, I'd say about 5 miles of my journey is just a 2-lane road that goes parallel to the border. And I see the people in there, dude. And the other day they were in there before the sun came up and it's fucking freezing down in there, dude. And they don't have anything. And now they crawled through that thing or they did whatever the fuck they had to do coming from where they're coming from with children. It fucking breaks my heart for them, dude. No matter what, all the political shit aside, just seeing a human being with a child, dude, and knowing my child and the love between a parent and a child and having them go through that, you know, that's what's happening in life while other kids are sitting in here with their coloring books and their fucking warm clothes on. And then half of those people, dude, never even made it in to that area to turn themselves into Border Patrol. They got caught up in the drug trade or prostitution or like so many things, dude, that you did not even know existed when you were living in your little fucking jungle wherever you came from. And now here you are with all this stuff, dude, and all these crazy people and money flowing where you don't have to go any further. You're on a fucking frontier border town of millions of people that's swinging nonstop, dude. And it does. And if everybody doesn't cross the border, it doesn't stop. Like that motherfucker's going no matter what. You know what I mean? You might not go any further than that. You could get caught up. I've known so many people that get caught up, dude, and it's just sad. How about when I was streaming during the migrant crisis the last time in whatever it was, 2018 or whatever, where remember when it was a super low tide and you could go under the wall, the beach wall, and somebody went under? No, it was Mexican Andy, dude, from Ice Poseidon, one of his buddies. He was like, they were like trying to do it, and he's like, look, just move this thing. And he pulled it, and the whole thing came off, and then a grown man fitted through there. And then some other people told them, or he was saying, dámelo, el niño. And then one of the people said, yeah, give him the kid, give him one of the kids. And they fucking passed a kid who was a migrant or whatever, who was abandoned, an orphan, to a strange guy just because it would look, he thought in his mind it would look better, a guy walking with a child down the beach than just a Mexican guy by himself with a little backpack where, you know what I mean, there's a beach with Border Patrol on it. And they are probably watching people come through the hole and know that it's been breached now, right? It's probably units en route. But you took a kid, and I heard the kids, dude, because the two kids must have been playing together or hanging out together in this little migrant community that was waiting along the wall for whatever is going to happen. Because when they fucking passed the kid through the fence and that guy took him, they were crying, dude. And I'm thinking, like, where's that kid's parents, dude? Or like now you're with a stranger, like some guy. Having a kid is hard, dude. That kid's gonna become a pain in your ass, and if it's not even yours, dude, you're gonna become abusive, impatient. It's just like it really breaks my heart, man. It breaks my fucking heart because I just think of my own son, dude, and how his little heart will break and the tears well up on his eyelashes and start falling just over something dumb. You know what I mean? Like the VR guy wasn't there. You know what I mean? Just like seeing a kid's heartbreak. It hurts, dude. It makes me feel um, dude, like, what's your fucking excuse, dude? Or what's your bullshit? You know what I mean? You really show, like, what a cuck fucking chump, horse shit bag of fucking dick that 98% of you motherfuckers are, dude, for real. And they ain't gonna get up. Don't have the faith to get up and do anything. Your fucking body reflects that. But yeah, it sucks, dude, for that kid. You know what I mean? And where's his fucking parents at? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna protect him, dude? Nobody. Just like those kids in the slabs. Like, they're the person that's supposed to protect them just left them. Right? You know what I'm saying? I know because that's what my fucking childhood was. So I'm like, okay. Well, it's just not. It does not end there, dude. You're for sure going to be doing things way later than when everybody else is doing them, when the natural time of doing them, those life things, because you don't have that example there. And then there is nobody to protect you. And a lot of these predators and motherfuckers out here look for that. They look for, I know employers that look for it, dude. And their whole crew and everybody are all like fatherless crackheads. You know what I mean? And you could see why, because we're always looking for a father figure, and we weren't taught that everybody's out to fucking swindle the next guy, and that the people just tell you whatever they want to tell you. Like, you got to see the evidence, like everything your dad tells you, man. But you didn't get told, so you had to figure it out. But it's not just like as easy as saying figure it out. Like, there's real life consequences that go with actions, and you're going to have to work them out. That's it. What does it turn your heart into? Do you just go about and you're just a happy little guy, just grateful for the sunshine like me? Or do you build up an animosity because somebody is sitting in there where they're loved and they're warm and they're doing, and that, you know what I mean? And you got, like, just like that walrus or that fucking whale, you got fucked. But it's like, but that motherfucker that's sitting over there in the warm thing has no clue how to cross international boundaries, negotiate this fucking obstacle without getting robbed or fucking arrested or anything, dude. Even just going to buy a t-shirt. They're gonna rob you, bro. They're gonna get you. You do not have the financial savvy like everybody else in the world has. They have to, dude, or you die. And that's facts, dude. And not only is that a stereotype, but people are told that and taught that about us because it's true. You know what I mean? That's why I see a lot of people that are rich and are privileged, but they still have that salty ass attitude, and they still look at everybody like they're full of shit, because nobody's immune to it, dude. No matter what fucking, especially somebody that's rich and has something, you're even more of a target to get fucking swindled. And like, that's the whole existence. It's just you protecting your assets from being swindled. You know what I mean? And we're talking about relapse prevention, triggers, warning signs, all stuff like that, dude, that are So important for kids like that kid, dude, because you're gonna need it, dude. The path that life has chiseled out for you just to survive, you're gonna need to know something about something, dude. You need to know about something about yourself and human nature in order to identify those red flags and those warning signs and those things that excuses, dude. I had a perfect excuse, but I didn't use it. Because you know who suffers from that? Me, dude. I've learned that there's consequences to everything, dude. Isn't that one of the laws of physics? For every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's real life consequences to shit. You know, my son's learning that. Just by having a father, I already see him learning that. So, yeah, if I would have had a father in my life and I would have been able to see that before I hit the world and experience it for myself the hard way, I would have been better off. And most people would have been better off. Those kids in the slabs, if their dad was there to protect them, it probably would have never happened. And just like those tree guys that are looking for homeless people because they know that they'll show up or they'll work for kibbles and bits and their self-esteem is low, and you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to fight back. If I just tell them to fuck off and I'm not paying you, get away from me, like, they're kind of defenseless. They're kind of helpless. Like, you know, a lot of people like that. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Well, guess what? I saw that motherfucker out there in Slab City do that too. He identified those kids, dude, because they didn't have a father. They didn't have somebody to protect them. They were vulnerable. And I know. I witnessed him contemplating or counting the cost about my son. It was like a little red flag for me. I heard the motherfucker say a couple times, like, I don't know, man. Anybody that brings their family out in the desert has got to be crazier than a motherfucker, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he was basically like telling himself, like, nah, don't do it, dude, because this guy will probably kill you, man. You know what I mean? And that big mouth little kid will probably, you know what I mean? Like, just, it wouldn't be no fucking secret for long. Like, that was the other ones were a much better candidate because you're like, here they have nobody to protect them, nobody to even go tell or believe them, which they obviously did. That's where we fucked up, and thank God, dude. Those are the real heroes. Whoever those kids went and told first, which was the end game, like, we're gonna look into it and find it to be true, and it got shut down. That adult dude, that's the real fucking hero for real, dude. Yeah. But that fucking piece of shit, he identified him, dude, as a target, just like what narcissists do. Because they didn't have a father, dude. They didn't have somebody to protect them and keep them safe. That's it. So, there's a lot going on there, dude, with the migrant crisis and all this stuff and everything, and it's a very like if I didn't have that knowledge, I would be homeless or I'd be in a teepee at a campground somewhere, which there's nothing wrong with that until I got to get my son ready, you know what I mean, or just his self-esteem, and you know what I mean. Like, I thank God that wasn't the case, but or like how half of California moved to TJ. But can you imagine the hardship? Having to learn the hard way that this is over here and that that's that, or like this is just a scam, and if you do this, you're going to get caught up. You know what I mean? And you know that because you already got caught up, and that was like costed you this and that. And you know what I mean? It's like, exactly, Rodgers. Exerting his power, bro. Oh, he's back in jail? Good. Bro, that's why they put a tail on him. The only people that were tripping were just dumb people like us that don't know any better, that are just armchair refereeing it and watching. The real, like, the real criminal justice system, they know. They know how it works. And they know, like, dude, is this put a tracker or a trail or a tail on this person? And they're fucked. Like, you could talk your way out of it before, oh, that was a different so-and-so, or no, what really happened was, you know? But you can't do that anymore. Now you have a hard-lined, proven this, and it's all hanging over his head, bro. So if he gets caught fucking up, you have to answer for the original charge in the first place, which could carry fucking 9 years, and probably will. I am telling you, that guy is going to end up doing lot of years in prison in the very near future, because the criminal justice system knew what they're doing and knew how to set them up. And because of loose, poor to next to non-existent sentencing guidelines for these motherfuckers, that they can do it in a way that, because of the plea deal and because of running things concurrently, and then, you know what I mean, and a facing up of the old charge as well as a new charge, and then you signed a deal saying that you were going to be held accountable for the original charge to the fullest extent of the law if you didn't complete this fucking probation. The only way the deal happens and goes through is that you successfully complete the treatment and the probation, bro. And then you still have to take all that homework back to a judge and put it before him. And they know, dude, that amount of work and faith and everything that we just talked about for the last 2 hours is required en masse, dude, to pull off passing that probation and that fucking therapy and all that stuff. Right? Next to impossible. So, and look, dude, just the level of frustration that guy had, bro, looking back now on what a fit pitcher he was and like how he would fly off the handle for not doing, that's shit that I do when I don't get something I want, or something that I'm real close to, but I can't fucking have it because that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? You act like a little baby and whatever. Never to that extent, because I know that things come with consequences, especially violence and outbursts and stuff, dude. You could find yourself in a bad legal situation real quick, just behind nothing, dude. And that's it. And he's fucked now. Yeah, but yeah, it was creepy, dude. It was. You should go there. You should go there and see for yourself, and you'll see how, like, really creepy it is. And nobody tells you this, bro, but the whole place has a fucking creepiness about it. Unescapable. Now, is that saying that you can't run into like a little old lady, a little old hippie lady that has a nice little thing going and it's like good, or like some people like do have nice little things going on and that's it? But I bet you there's something there, dude, if you peel back the layers. And even if there's not, let's just assume that they're not, and they are that 1 in 10,000 exception, you're surrounded by creepiness. And I implore you, just give me one reason or one example of a person that is a normal person that has their shit together with zero dysfunction and chooses to be surrounded by creepiness. Fucking argue with that. You know what I mean? The only people that are going to argue with that are people that I could give two fucking shits about, especially if you have the inability to acknowledge the truth. Then you're so fucking disillusioned, dude, and you're disillusioned for something that is the epitome of filth. It's filth, dysfunction, defensiveness, evil, and negativity personified in an actual physical place that was abandoned by other people who built it and were professional soldiers. Professional soldiers, dude. Professional soldiers that just won the war, on average, were probably there working for that goal for 4 or 5 years up until it happened. And now they have their fucking big prize, and they decided, we're gonna establish a training area out here because it's the most fucked environment. And if you could do this, you could do anything. And then even they were like, you know what? Fuck this, dude. And abandon it or consolidate it to the little one that they have out. But they have no choice, because you have to be out there in order to test ordnance. So that's it, bro. You know, the canal was 100% for sure built by the Army Corps of Engineers. It just ran through the desert by itself, and they built the canal so that they could control it and have one constant flow that never changes. The source of it is the Coachella Canal. It's a fucking underground water well that nobody knows exactly how much. It is an infinite, it has never stopped flowing since the beginning of time. Not once ever. And that's it. And Coachella is far as fuck. It's like 200 or 300 miles. It might even be 400 miles. It's definitely, okay, wait. You're thinking of like Los Angeles and shit. So Coachella is probably 100. It's from 70 to 120 miles away from Slab City. And it doesn't stop there. It goes all the way into Mexico. It used to go into the Gulf of Mexico. Into the Sea of Cortez. But it doesn't anymore. Carlos showed me, actually. He was like, no, dude, it stops. Like right before the Sea of Cortez, it actually stops, dude, and fucking just disappears. And it's just like a soggy marshland for like a mile or two. Just soggy marsh, all green though. But the flow stops. There's no flow all the way into, because people start taking, by the time it gets down there, dude, Imperial Valley water uses it. The farmlands take and use from it. There's a couple of Indian reservations and casinos that take and use from it. And then it goes into Mexico. And Mexico is not like on this side. If you look at Google Earth, we have like sporadic pieces of farm greenland and shit and everything like that. Mexico is green as fuck. Like from the line, like this is what Mexicans do, dude. If you look anywhere in Mexico on the border wall, you could see that their shit is like built right up to the wall. Like even in some cases using part of the wall as like the structure. You know what I mean? And on our side, there's nothing, dude. It's just like barren fucking wasteland for miles in between. Like San Ysidro, a little bit. Like you see a little bit of buildings, but not like right up against, but like there's stuff. But anyway, but yeah, so the Army Corps of Engineers did that, and you know what I mean? It's a water source for people that are like usually drought stricken, and like even into Mexico, and it never stops. And the slabs were part of the Army base because they had a base there, and then it just got shut down eventually, and so the only thing that remains are the slabs. That's why they call it the slabs. But you have a finished floor, dude. So like if you were going to make a structure, like that's a good start. Well, you know what? Look, go to videos and go look at videos of people that have been there. Everybody says the same thing. Like, if it's not what you thought, like, okay, everybody says the same thing. It's not what I thought, and it's kind of sad and depressing. know what I mean? Dude, I gotta go over here. I'm gonna piss my fucking pants. Oh my god. Oh shit. Don't hit anybody, Joseph. Oh god. I'm having a fucking piss explosion all of a sudden. Damn, bruh. It's gnarly, dude. Nar. Oh, where'd my hair tie go? Oh my god. Man. Well, my job canceled for today, which is fine. Damn, I'm doing the pee-pee dance, dude. Woo! I just don't want to, like, urinate in front of these respectable people. It's hard. You know what? Oh, wait. I want to park somewhere in the shade. I want to get some shirts made and stuff, man. Like, if I got some like shirts made, well, wait. First of all, I'll put it like this: I'm willing to make some shirts for our community, and the way I want to do it is I want to do it in such a way that like everybody that belongs gets fucking a piece of the pie or the proceeds from the shirt sales. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it like builds, you know what I'm saying? Like, people that have been around for a while, or I don't know how to do, you know what I'm trying to say though? You know what I mean? Like, people that have been around for a while, it's like a profit sharing, is I guess what I'm trying to say, because we are all the community. The community is you guys, and it is. So like that's the way we'll go. Just like the housing thing that I was saying. That's how Eljo's operation works in my mind. Is like everything is not for me to make money, but I like the whole family to make money. It's just something I just learned, dude, about my family. It's like, if your old lady has like plenty of money and everything she needs, she's doing the things she needs to do. If the kids have all the money and everything they need, they're doing everything they need to do. You know what I'm saying? And better. It's more copacetic. People are less like willing to destroy or burn things down when they own a piece of it. You'd be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's why people were concerned. The experts that were talking about why they're worried about society, and you know what I mean? Like, the general consensus was that when people don't feel like they own a part of the pie, or that they're not entitled, or they're left out, then why would they give a fuck? Imagine if our country thought like that. Dude, does anybody remember right before John McCain passed away? Obama was the president, and he was trying to pass the Affordable Care Act, and people were against it because they knew you were going to be forced to do something in order to pay for somebody else that didn't do it, and it didn't sit well with people, and rightfully so. You knew that was going to come. But John McCain, who was a Republican, voted in favor of the Affordable Care Act because his vote was like, everybody had already casted their votes and there was only a few people left. He was one of them, and he knew that it was going to be the deciding factor, and that people were poor people were going to be kicked off of their programs and medication. And maybe because he was dying, he didn't want to have to live with that or have that on his conscience, or just because it was the decent thing to do. Here you are, a privileged person, and you served with honor. He could have, his dad did buy his way out of that fucking prison camp, but he refused to leave because he knew it was going to be demoralizing to the enlisted men that he was sharing that camp with, that didn't have the money to pay their way out. And anyway, that was just one of the many things. Like, I'm a big John McCain fan just because of the person he is. But back then, nobody was tripping, dog. It was like, it wasn't like it is now. Like, that's a Republican dude that voted for something that was a Democratic idea, was going to help other people, because it wasn't about Democrat or Republican. It was about morality and a family unit as Americans. And that's all changed just in a couple years. Just this Trump coming, and then the pandemic, or all the things that, whatever it is, polarized people where you won't ever see that nowadays, ever again. It's so hardline, it's so this team or that team nowadays. And I'm just like, really like beside myself on how we were able to all come together and be together just a few years ago. But now it's all fucked up. You know what I mean? Because some people don't want to take care of other people, right? Hateful people, dude. And you know what I'm grateful for? I'm grateful that our government is ran by people that are actually smart, and that they're smart enough to do a hiring process that weeds people out that have these character dysfunctions and haven't don't know words like relapse prevention or like any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like Nikki Bailey, like the cousin, the powers that be, the fucking system that we have, the people that are in high places, they keep motherfuckers like her out. They keep people like Sam out. Like, think about it. Think about if Sam the Sham or fucking Nikki the suck my dicky were running shit. And like that bitch, like, I want to see this person out on the street with their kid and smash his toes with a hammer. Like, and she could. If she has power and influence and position, everything like she says she does, you could run for that office and get it, dude. And then we'd all be fucked, but you don't. Because you're not that good of a person. You rather run your fucking flaps and just be a hater on a powerless, stupid device. Think about that, dude. That's how powerless that bitch is. You've given her more than enough ammunition. And your lifestyle, bro, if I wasn't a drug addict and I wasn't down there trying to find the cartel so that I could buy drugs at them at a discounted price, and then allegedly move those things into an area, right? And I had to find out where this bus was, to that, to this, to that. You know what's crazy, dude? Is that yesterday when I was crossing on foot, because I haven't crossed on foot in years, like at least 2 years. And because I'm not doing any of the right things, right? I'm just out there living fucking loose, being wasteful, and being like chronically addicted, right? That's addictive behavior. That's another thing, Sam. One thing that you learn in recovery, if recovery is real, if you just sat there, you know, you can tell the difference either if you just sat there because probation told you to. Whoa! Did you see that? Dude, that's a fucking wild cat, dude. That's a nice baby. Come here, baby. Oh, man, that baby's out here, dude, living. Whoa. Dang, that's a nice baby, dude. It probably learned that if it sits there in the tree, that birds come through, dude. birds just, I've seen them. I've seen 10 birds just onto a bush. And they just go in it and they're picking bugs and doing their own things. And if you're a cat and you just sit in there and then they come into the bush, that's it. You just grab one. You look healthy, dude. They're healthy. Oh, you know what? I needed to find a place like this, dude. Just in case, dude. There's a good to know, dude. A habitat where animals could fucking survive on their own, dude. Yeah. If that thing was hungry or it needed anything, it would have been on my nuts, dude. Even the lion at the fucking San Diego Zoo can smell the cats on me, dude. You know what I mean? I know, because I've seen them perk up, and the other animals too. Man, right now they're fucking... Hear that, dude? Cat fight, dude. What happened? Let's go look. Hey, there's another one up there, dude. Whoa. No way, dude. Whoa. I'm interested, dude. I wanna come over here and hunt feral babies, but by hunt I mean like catch a fucking image of them. Oh, you guys want to see? Like, this is good habitat, dude. Oh, here's where I found that fucking eagle. Oh shit, the fucking lens is dirty on the other side. This is good habitat, dude. That piping like that, that's habitat restoration. A lot of times they'll do that so that native species like that bush right there, which is called a toyon, that's a toyon bush. And there's also that other one, that one right there, that's a sumac. That right there is also a sumac. That's an African sumac. You could tell by the weeping. Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. I can't tell because I'm far away, but if it's not an African sumac, it's an acacia, a Bailey's acacia. It's hard to tell because there's no flowers on it, but there's leaf structures similar. Okay, that's a Bailey's acacia, I could see, and therefore that is an African sumac. And that right there next to the sumac is called Melaleuca alternifolia, okay? Or a commonly known as a tea tree, which the best arborists that I know will argue that a tea tree is not a Melaleuca. Now see this guy. He sees somebody here, and so he stops and he's looking. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? Like, am I trying to dump that truck in here? Or like, what's this guy doing? You know what I mean? But like, the most important thing is for me to remember not to be defensive, and because the problem and the fucking bullshit that I was just saying is in here. I've found that 9 times out of 10, those people aren't having any negative thoughts about you. I'll actually wouldn't be surprised if that dude comes over to me and goes, "Hey man, just out of curiosity, I see your truck, and I heard you identifying the tree species, tree ID. Well, could you give me an estimate on how much you would charge to cut this, and how, you know what I mean? Like, these are the ones, dude, that I want, because they've been doing them at a gouged price. It's like 2 days worth of work, but the companies will come out and make it take a week because they've been charging them $25,000, you know, to 2 days worth of work, and they've just been paying it religiously. And then they come across me and they're like, "Dude, how can you give me an estimate on this?" And I've heard this story from a lot of people. Their golden ship comes in, you know, and they get a $58,000 contract. You know what I mean? And they have a whole year to do it. You get half and half. And I just think, like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, I work my ass off just to survive on $12,000 a year, you know, or $24,000 a year, whatever the fuck. And by choice, because I don't want the problems. I don't want tax problems. I'm not after anything. You know what I mean? Like all that money is mostly going into my fucking savings, which, you know, just takes a breakdown, a transmission or something, and it sucks all that up. But I know that if I keep, first of all, man, I'm gonna tell you this. You know, you guys like to hear me. This is one of my Hey, Red Roan, man, you have a great day, Red Roan. I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention to these comments, you guys. But I lost my train of thought too. Ha! But Rodgers, you can bring me on another train of thought. If I did caricatures of everybody in the community, that would be cool. I'm gonna do that for sure, but that's more for us. You know what I mean? And people that aren't us are not gonna have any interest in that shirt, of course. But I was thinking like that Sailor Moon shirt that I have. It's an easy silk screen, and if you guys notice, Sailor Moon has a joint in her fingers, but you really don't see it. Well, I was thinking about running that one. I was thinking of hoodies, black hoodies, or white ones with black print, but white with black print, and having the olive branches. You know what I mean? Just on the side, so when you put it on, there's a tribal crown of olive branches like that. You know what I mean? Just on that part, and then like something cool. You know what I mean? For the other part, like one of those old school traditional style Japanese waves, you know, with the fucking with the like the spiked crests falling over. Um, this is what I've learned. It's something that if you were going to a motorcycle rally or rock concert or anywhere really, it's a hoodie that you would grab and want to wear. You know what I mean? And to me, black is the one because it doesn't get dirty. It matches everything. And when you're going out or whatever, like especially me on the motorcycle, like I just want something black that I could slip on. Oh, you know what I mean? Like hoodie. And I say black because this is what I learned, dude, about fashion. Like I'm telling you, dude, I can sew. For real, dude. For real, for real. You guys seen my fucking jackets and shit. I've made pants. I don't know if I've ever shown you. But I could sew for real, dude. I'm fucking good at it. But here's the problem with that. It's just like any other form of art. It's very difficult to make money at it. Because tastes vary so greatly, dude. And not only do tastes vary greatly, but but yeah, dude, it's hard. It's a hard one. It's a fucking hard, very, very difficult industry. Anybody, even retail, is hard. Usually fails because people are so picky, and what you have is not appeal to everybody, dude. You know what I mean? And chances are, what you have, you picked it because it's your style, dude. It's a fucking hard one. And anybody that's had any success artistically, usually it's from something that they had sitting on their shelf, or a mistake, or something that people just cling to, dude. And you're like, what? Really? Like, I'm telling you, everybody, that's what it was. Their fucking claim to fame was something that they didn't even intend to do. And the people went nuts for it, and it became a fad, and it was like, what the fuck? And that's rare. the actual reality is it's hard to appeal to everybody, but we all have the same interests and the same mindset, or we wouldn't be all here in a community, right? All together, especially people that have been around, because this has been going on for 4 or 5 years. And the other element was fast removed. So this is not anything that's happened in the last 4 years has been completely built by us. So I'm thinking like, I don't know, just let's keep throwing ideas around because I'll fucking do it. Like we could have there's so many things. I don't know. Leave me comments, hit me up. I'll give you a bigger percentage if it's your idea. Plus, it'll be all copyrighted and legally fucking documented. So, you know what I mean? Like, this fat shit blowing up or getting any kind of momentum would be in your best interest for sure. And here's the thing, dude. I've been looking lately around in Tijuana, and I could get quality shirts, hoodies, you know what I mean? All cotton, or it could be cotton blend, but they're all quality. And it's next to nothing if I'm doing black and white single screen. It's next to nothing, dude. I like the swamp creature from the Black Lagoon. I like the creature from the Black Lagoon. I like those traditional Japanese style waves. Like what? Oh, what about the Santissima Muerte? You know that fucking the skeleton that's wearing the cloak with the big sickle, and there's always a little owl right there. You know, Saint of the Dead. You know, Santissima Muerte. That's the patron saint of smugglers and prostitutes and drug dealers. You didn't even know they had one, huh? Dude, that's a legitimate Catholic saint, homie. But that is some TJ shit, dude. Big fucking time. Like, you see that thing? I don't even know, dude. Dude, it's such a thing that they actually have a magazine, dude, that comes out fucking on the regular. That's called Alteras, which means altars. And it's nothing but altars, dude, that people fucking make. And mostly like the Santissima Muerte, dude, the Saint of the Dead. And that'd be cool, right? Having a Santissima Muerte. You know what I mean? Or I don't know, dude. I was thinking that Sailor Moon, I wish I had it. You could see it because it's so subtle. There's so much going on there in the black and white that you don't see it. You know what I mean? Instead of the little stogie that she's holding in her hand like this, just put a big ball at the end of it so it looks like a crystal pipe or something. You know what I mean? Just so you guys could continue to like fucking make fun of the, you know, of me being a tweaker. And I mean, it's okay. I'm down with the fucking, hey, Mac, good to see you there, buddy. Hey, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have any moderators in here. Ha ha ha. Even though we don't use them. Unless it's like, yeah, I don't even block Nikki, bro, because she's the only one. Sometimes I only have one person in here, you know what I mean? And I know it's her. She at least is the first one to stop in and be like, how come you haven't died already? Just fucking die already. Huh, you know what I mean? Well, Nikki, suck my dicky. Dying is what happens. That's like traditionally been something that the weak do. People like yourself. So I understand how when you're trying to think of something, you have nothing but yourself as a source. So obviously your weaknesses and your bullshit are what comes out of your hurish mouth. But the reality is that you're probably more of a tweaker than me. If you go just based on fucking what the evidence suggests, right? The evidence would suggest that the person that has 3 vehicles that are legal, registered, right, that I'm driving them with my legal licensing that I have, do you understand? That if I had like criminality, if there was any element of criminality or neglect, I wouldn't be licensed. You know what I mean? I could lose all that tomorrow. You know what? I'll get a scooter, like a Dumb and Dumber scooter, dude. Bet. And I'll cross that every day. Like I don't even need a license. And I'll go get a bum like you, Nikki. I'll go get a bum like you that has all the fucking licensing but isn't doing shit with their life. And I'll pay you to drive my shit for me. You know what I mean? While I like stream or something like this. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing all the right things, right? Like it's called using behavior. Anybody that sits on a stream in the morning for 2.5 hours, that's the opposite of using behavior. Using behavior is you're nowhere to be found. You're nowhere to be found because you're chasing the bag. And then when you do, like, in your addict mind, you're not paying any attention to the 7 or 8 or 9 hours or 3 days that you spent missing in action. In your mind, as long as you pop up and make an appearance, nobody's gonna know. And so now you're nodding out. I see motherfuckers on the Kona with nothing going on for them. And they can't even stand up. They're like, wait for it, you ready? You've never seen me fucking do it, not even once. That's not using behavior. I feel bad that somebody has to explain this to you because it's a testament of how stupid you really are, which I guess like everybody knew that. Leave it to Eljo to bring us information that everybody already knows. You're the only person that's like a real flea or a real kicking bag that I see go from spot to spot to spot. And the only one that follows you or has anything to fucking say bad is you. Because people look at using behavior. And there's no using behavior going on. That's it. I mean, that's it. And that's that, man. I would wager to say that, like what I started out, this thing, saying like you don't have anything but your own pea brain to go on. And so that's where you come up with these things because you're probably the tweaker. If I look at the evidence of like having a channel, then losing a channel, and I'm so mentally unstable and I'm so unable to control or curb my own tongue that I keep losing channels over and over. But yet I, the guy that talks about having a cat suck his dick, right? Or talks about the piece of shit that effed 2 kids in the B, and I could say that and that level of filth and everything, and I got the same fucking channel that I had 4 years ago. Bitch. And don't tell me you haven't tried. That's a capital fail. That's a capital fail if I ever saw one. How come you haven't got my channel taken down, Nikki Suck My Dicky? Because you can't. Because you're either powerless, which we already know, or you're stupid, which we already know, or there's no using behavior going on. You know what? Who's doing using behavior? You. Losing channels. Doing risky behaviors that cause you to lose channels. Not showing up, not being anywhere for days, weeks at a time. Not showing your face. You know what I mean? Like non-filter, regular, right? Who does have pox and pick marks on her face regularly. Like, I know why you don't show your face, because the motherfucker changes shape. every other day, depending on how you're picking it or your medication. Now, do I think you started off that way? Yeah, probably. Probably. Are you from California? You definitely started smoking either with some dude, or you found it somehow, or you was on some medication. And it didn't start out that way, but just like every kind of addiction, it just creeped in just a little bit at a time, just the subtlest little, just get your toe. Just stop the door from closing, even if it's just with the tip of your toe. That's it, man. That's all it takes. Now you're in. Now the door's open. And next time it'll be the whole foot and the whole leg. Now you're pinned in that motherfucker and there's no way out. And it's miserable and shitty. And all you could do in your pea brain to fucking help that is point out other people and accuse them of the very thing you're doing, because there's no way that this person, if I'm doing it and I'm this high and mighty fucking cock choking bitch, then this person has got to be doing it. But that's not the case, Nikki, because it doesn't work based on your attitude hang up and your dysfunction. It's based on facts and accumulated knowledge of addiction and using behaviors that's been collectively put together over the last 50 fucking years, which is right. That's when the real drug and alcohol shit had to come out, dude, and really got deep and came to some answers. And it's been working for 50 years and started out 50 years ago piggybacking on 50 years that the alcoholics who invented this fucking reasoning and this mentality and identified this truth that we still use today, but for a much wider range of things than just alcohol, that it was started for 100 years ago. You see? And everybody has this knowledge, because if you're working a fucking honest program, well, then you're working on this program and you're just hearing this stuff and it's just absorbing into you just by being around. And if you're not, then you're not, right? If you are, then you're able to regurgitate this information, you're able to share this information, you're able to provide a forum, a community, a place where people can go and talk about it. And even if you're actively using, there's still no fucking shame. We could even make jokes about it, we could do all kinds of stuff, right? And just like in NA and AA, the only people that are against it are salty, but they're still there. They're still there, sitting there, but they're hateful, they're salty, they're not happy. Well, because you know what you want to do, but you're just not man enough to do it, or it doesn't work for you, or you haven't figured out how to make it work. You know how you make it work, Stoney? If you're even still in here, it's called discipline. And most people just don't have discipline, dude. Hey, man, what's up, Dog Style? You want to know where you could buy one from? I'm glad to see you, bro. I like you, man. You're a cool guy. That it ties into what I was saying about fatherless people. Just have this habit, man. You can't get away from it. It's what the fuck. We're always looking or identifying these like father figures. You know what I mean? And the hoodoo man, he showed himself to be like one of those. He was a fucking cool person that the minute I sat down with him, acted like I've known him for years, because it was natural and we have a lot of like mind. And so he's a lot older, and he's automatically sharing me this knowledge, and he's explaining to me how he came by this knowledge. He's spent so much time driving a truck that he's literally heard every type of music. Don't you want, like, what? That's like the coolest person to have around you, dude. And he treated me nothing but like the way a father treats a son. Like, hey, check this out, dude. This is how I know about this, because I spent all the time here. I'm going to show you this and that. And I spent the whole time sitting next to that dude, just talking about music and smoking. And you know what? It's not normal, man. You don't find people that you click up like that. You know what I mean? You're a cool motherfucker, bro. And that was it. One time, and then I left. And then here he is. I'm like, and I feel comfortable enough, I like you enough to you like say that in public. And then I'm gonna post this. And it's gonna be up there forever. But because it's genuine and it's real, I don't have like any shame about it, or you know what I mean? That's what the fuck I'm trying to do. That's where my success is gonna come from. It's just like being myself and just telling the truth. And just telling my experience. Because everybody else, it took a lot of fucked up shit to happen in order to make everybody catch up with where the fuck I'm at, where I started out at. But here we all are, for whatever reason. And because I've already done it and didn't have any help and didn't have any choice, I have this wealth of information that I could show you how to negotiate your way through it, where not only do you not have any problems, but you come out better than everybody else's that's doing it, and you have little to no tools in your arsenal, especially not like what they do. Like, in other words, I don't even have a passport, so I shouldn't even be able to play in that fucking game, period. And not only am I playing, I'm winning it. And you know what I mean? Even when I have problems, I don't lose a step, because that's not using behavior, dude. Using behavior is when you run into a simple problem. Let me break it down for you. This is how you can tell if anybody's actively using or not. When they run into a simple problem that happens to everybody else, it's devastating to them, because you don't have any money saved up. You know what I mean? You didn't put anything away for the morning. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't have, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like fixing that flat tire. I mean, not only did I fix a fat tire, but I bought 3 of them so that I don't ever have to do this again for at least a really long fucking time. See? And if you're in active addiction, that's never going to happen, because you're not, dude, your next hit is going to come up way sooner than that second or third flat tire. So if we're fixing a tire now, I just need 1 tire right now to get me on the road so I could go get my fix. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the future. Like, that's it, dude. You have to be able to identify using behavior and relapse warning signs, dude. Red flags. Relapse warning signs. You know what a relapse warning sign for me is? When I get tired. Talking about my medication, and I said how I'm 30 milligrams less, and that my track record, the data suggests that I have 100% chance of staying in recovery if I'm on methadone, and I have a 0% chance of success if I'm off of methadone. The data shows that I have 100% chance of relapse, not a 98, it's 100%. It's inevitable until you get your ass back into a clinic, legal registered doctor, and get the medication that they feel you need through urine analysis and medical history. Well, how would you know that, Sam? You've never seen me loaded. You've never seen me. I want you to find me a heroin addict or a supposed heroin addict that's in active addiction that you can't find not one video or not one picture of this motherfucker nodding out. Because that just screams active addiction, right? You know what I mean? That shows how clueless you actually are, dude. You're like that person. When I was a kid, I was told, hey, unless you're the fucking expert, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. I want you to listen to this guy who won't keep his mouth shut. And look how stupid this motherfucker is going to make himself look and feel. And sure enough, they were right. And then I also learned, like, when you don't know something about what you're talking about or what's going on, but you are the only one flapping your lips, or you act like you fucking know so much about it and you have all this stuff to say, by not knowing what the fuck you're talking about, you're actually exposing that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so, like, you can also tell that you didn't have a father or proper father figures. This is the first thing that a father fucking schools you on. Yeah, because you don't sit back and listen to this stupid motherfucker, Sam, that's saying all these things that you could tell. You've never seen me when I'm spun the fuck out, Sam, because I haven't done crystal meth in over 4 years. When I first moved back to TJ, right? And I wasn't on methadone, so that goes back to the data and the evidence. 100% chance, bro, of a relapse. It's in your fucking future. Right? But because we're acknowledging the truth and we have that knowledge now, that's never going to happen again. Or it will be shut down when the warning signs are there, right? And the warning signs are, you're tired, you're not taking the medication, the prescribed amount, you start becoming detached. You're not making videos, you're not showing up for work, you're not leaving the house, right? Significant weight loss, significant physical appearance change, you know what I mean? Definitely not wearing a different $200 Gucci shirt every time we fucking see you. Like, whether it fell off the back of a truck or not, dude. Like, that's dope money. And nobody